payment is stealing your future.
I'm looking at how the average American spends their money each month, and there's one category on there that's absolutely destroying people's chances of building wealth. Now, most folks have no clue which one it is. You want to take a guess? It's not what you think. No. You see, everyone assumes it's their mortgage that's keeping them broke, or maybe credit card debt. But I've seen thousands of people's finances over the years, and the real wealth killer is something people actually brag about affording. Something that depreciates much faster than they can say, ooh, new car smell. Yeah, that's right. Talking about transportation. Your car payments, insurance, fuel, repairs, maintenance, the whole package. Transportation costs are the number one wealth destroyer in America today. And that's a reality, if you will, that most people have refused to face. If this is hitting home for you already, hit the like button. And if you want more content that breaks down the financial traps that most people fall into, make sure you're subscribed, because we're just getting started. We're just getting warmed up. So think about this for just a second. Your house might go up in value over time. Your mortgage payment stays the same while inflation makes it cheaper. But your car, well, that sucker loses 10 to 15% of its value the moment you drive it off the lot. And it keeps losing value every single month that you own it. But here's where it gets super ugly. Americans are now carrying $1.6 trillion in auto loan debt. Let me put that into perspective. That's more than the entire GDP of Canada. And it's growing every single year. And what's happening is people are becoming, well, it's what I call car poor. Not carpool, car poor. They're making just enough to cover their monthly car payment, insurance, gas, and they got nothing left to actually build wealth with. You see, they're trapped on a financial treadmill that never stops. It doesn't. And most of them don't even realize that they're on it. The auto industry has convinced the entire generation that success, you ready, can be financed at 7.9% APR. They've turned transportation from a basic necessity into a status symbol that people will go into debt for decades if they can afford it. And while they're busy making those monthly payments on a depreciating asset, the wealthy are taking the same money and they're putting it into assets that actually grow in value. You see, the numbers are absolutely staggering when you break them down. In 2005, auto loan debt in this country was about $720 billion. In 2010, it hit $850 billion. Fast forward to 2020, and we're looking at $1.38 trillion. Today, we're sitting at an all-time high of $1.62 trillion. That's more than doubled in just 20 years. And here's what's really happening behind these numbers. You see, people aren't just buying more cars, they're buying more expensive cars with longer loan terms than ever they did before. The average new car costs around $48,000. Wow, let that sink in for a minute. $48,000 for something that starts losing value the second you sign the paperwork. That's more than most people make in an entire year. And they're financing it like it's going to make them money. What? But here's where the real problem lies. The car industry has gotten so good at hiding the true cost that most people only look at one number, the monthly payment. They walk into a dealership thinking about whether they can afford a $450 a month, not whether they can afford $48,000 plus interest, insurance, maintenance, and repairs, right? It's a payment buyer. Let me show you what I mean with a real example. Take something like a middle-of-the-road car, a Honda Civic, supposedly one of the most practical, affordable cars that you can buy. Now, the sticker price as of today is around $28,000. Now, that seems reasonable, I would say, for a reliable car, right? Dead wrong. Here's what that affordable car actually costs you over 5 years, and these are conservative numbers. First, you got depreciation. That's around $11,000, and that's gone just because time passed and your car got older. That's $2,200 every single year for the privilege of watching your money disappear. Oh, then there's insurance. Even with a clean record and decent credit, you're looking at nearly $12,000 over 5 years. And if you're young or have any dings on your record, that number jumps to about $20,000 or even more. Fuel costs, another $6,400 over 5 years. That's assuming gas prices don't spike like they tend to do, like we love them to do. Financing charges, because unless you've got $28,000 sitting around in cash, you're going to be paying interest. You're going to pay the juice. Well, that's another $4,700, assuming you've got decent credit and you can put money down. Maintenance is around, I don't know, $3,200. Oil changes, brake pads, tires, filters, it never ends. Taxes and registration fees. Taxman's knocking. The government wants to get their cut too. $28,000. Oh, sorry, I exaggerate. $2,800. And repairs. Even reliable cars break down. Budget another, I don't know, $1,800 for unexpected stuff that always seems to happen right after your warranty expires. Go figure. You add it all up and your $28,000 affordable Honda Civic, well, it just cost you $46,800 over 5 years. That's nearly $50,000 for a basic economy car. But here's where it gets to be really painful, because that's not even the worst part of it. The worst part is what financial experts call opportunity cost. What's that? Well, you're spending that $780 every single month on car payments, insurance, and all the rest of the stuff. That's money that could be working for you instead of against you. After 5 years of payments, maintenance, depreciation, the Honda Civic is worth maybe, I don't know, $19,000 if you're lucky, and it's been well maintained, of course, with no accidents. So you've essentially lost $27,000 in net worth just to have the privilege of driving a depreciating asset around the town. But what if you could take that same $780 a month, that payment, and put it towards actual wealth building instead? Now, whether it's real estate, a business, or other cash flowing assets, that money could be generating income and growing in value rather than evaporating through depreciation. Look, conservative estimates show that money properly invested in income producing assets could easily grow to $60,000 or more over that same 5-year period, and that's being conservative. Let me repeat that, just in case you missed it. Car option, you've left with a $19,000 asset after spending nearly $47,000. But the wealth building option, you've got $60,000 or more in actual assets that generate income. It's a difference of $40,000 in net worth. $40,000, that's a down payment on a house, folks. That's a yearly salary for some people. That's real wealth gone because you wanted to look successful instead of actually being successful. Wow, we're getting into it today, aren't we? And here's the kicker. Most people repeat this cycle every 3 to 5 years for their entire work lives. They trade in that 5-year-old car for another new one, roll the negative equity into the new loan, and start the whole wealth-destroying process all over again and again and again. I've watched people do this for decades. They'll drive brand new cars their entire careers and wonder why they can never get ahead of themselves financially. You've seen them riding around in a Range Rover and say, how do they afford that? They don't. They don't afford it. They crush their wealth. Meanwhile, the guy driving the 10-year-old payoff Toyota is quietly building a fortune. Think about this for a second, would you? If you avoided just one of these wealth-destroying car cycles and invested that money instead, you'd have enough for a substantial down payment on a rental property. Do that twice, and you're looking at serious wealth building on that rental property. See, but most people never even consider this because they're too worried about what their neighbors think of their car. But the wealthy understand something that most people don't. Assets that go up in value make you rich. Assets that go down in value, well, they keep you poor. Simple. It's not rocket science. While regular folks are financing depreciating cars, wealthy people are buying cash-flowing real estate, growing businesses, and building investment portfolios. They're not trying to impress anyone with their monthly payments. They're focused on building actual wealth. But here's what really gets me juiced up. It really does. The car industry has turned this wealth destruction into a status game, and people are falling far behind, and they're falling completely out of favor. Keeping up with the Joneses, baby, 24/7. They're convinced, they've absolutely convinced an entire generation that your car defines your success. Oh, this gets me going. Walk into any dealership, and they're not selling you transportation, they're selling you an image. They're selling you the idea that the right car will make you more attractive, more successful, more respected even. You see it everywhere. Young guys stretching their budgets to the breaking point to drive a BMW or a Mercedes that they can't afford, thinking it makes them look like they've made it. Meanwhile, they're living paycheck to paycheck, one car repair away from financial disaster. And the marketing is absolutely ruthless. They don't show you the reality, sitting in traffic on Tuesday mornings, stressed about money, knowing you've got maybe 4 more years of payments on a car that's already worth less than what you owe on it. They show you success, don't they? Freedom, adventure, all the things that monthly payment definitely won't give you. So here's the truth nobody wants to hear. Driving an expensive car on a payment plan does not make you successful. Got it? Good. It makes you broke with good credit. The real wealthy people, they already know this. They know this. They've paid off cars. They understand that every dollar tied up in a depreciating asset is a dollar that's not working for them. They'd rather put the money into something that actually grows their wealth. But the pressure is real. Nobody gives you a pat on the back for driving a 10-year-old Honda that's paid off and running perfectly, do they? But roll up in a brand new $50,000 truck on a 7-year loan and suddenly people are like, whoa, you gotta be doing well. It's backwards thinking that keeps people trapped in the wealth destruction cycle. And it's getting worse, guys. The average auto loan term is now over 6 years. 6! People are taking longer to pay off cars than it used to take to pay off some houses. And by the time they're done paying, the car needs major repairs or replacement. This creates what I call the car poor trap. You're making enough money to afford the payment, so you think you can afford the car. But you can't afford to save money. You can't afford to invest. You can't afford to build an emergency fund. All your extra income is going to keep that depreciating asset sitting in your driveway so that everybody can see it. Even worse, many people end up upside down or in a negative equity position on these loans. This means they owe more than the car is actually worth. Recent studies show that nearly 1 in 4 car buyers are in this exact position. 1 in 4. So you might owe $40,000 on a car that's only worth $30,000. What does that mean? You're done and dusted, my friend. Game over. You're literally $10,000 in the hole just for the privilege of driving something newer. Privilege. Now look, I get it. In most parts of this country, you need reliable transportation. I'm not telling you not to have a car. I'm not telling you to walk everywhere or ride a bicycle to work in the middle of winter. Some of you could use that. I don't know. Anyway, a study by Capital One found that 67% of people said that having a car opened up income opportunities that they wouldn't have had otherwise. Now I'm getting it. So I'm not against owning a car. I'm against being stupid about it, okay? The problem isn't that people buy cars, it's how they buy them. And more importantly, it's how often they buy them. See, here's the thing. If you're smart about it, you can have reliable transportation and still build wealth. But you got to stop thinking like a consumer and start thinking like an investor. Let me give you 3 rules that can save you hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. Rule number 1, buy in what I call the sweet spot. This is when you buy a car that's 3 to 4 years old with about 30 to 40,000 miles on it. And here's why this works so well. You completely dodge that brutal first-year depreciation hit where the car loses 10 to 15% of its value before you even get it home. But you still get modern safety features, reliability, and often some remaining warranty coverage. The car that costs $35,000 brand new, well, it might be $24,000 at this age. That's $11,000 in instant savings that you can invest instead of giving to the dealership. Think about that. $11,000 that you keep in your pocket just by being patient. Rule number 2, follow what I call the 15% rule. Your total transportation costs should never exceed 15% of your monthly income. And I mean total costs, payment, insurance, fuel, maintenance, repairs, everything, all the stuff we've talked about. So if you bring home, I don't know, $3,000 a month, that's a maximum of $450 for all car-related expenses. Now, if you make $5,000 a month, you can go up to $750. Push past these numbers and you're getting dangerously close to becoming car poor. Most people, well, they only think about whether they can afford the monthly payment. That's exactly how the dealerships want you to think. But the payment, well, it's just the beginning. Add the insurance, gas, maintenance, repairs, and that affordable payment becomes a budget killer. Okay, rule number 3. This is where you actually start building wealth. Keep the car for more than 10 years. What? This is where most people completely blow it. The average person trades in their car every 3 to 5 years, which is absolute financial madness. Just when you're getting close to paying it off, just when the depreciation starts to slow down, they trade it in for another depreciating asset and they start the whole thing all over again. Instead, Buy once and maintain it like your financial future depends on it, because it does. See, here's what happens when you follow the 10-year rule. Let's say you buy that 3-year-old car for $24,000 and now you keep it for 10 years. For the first 2 or 3 years, well, you're making payment, but then something magical happens. Car gets paid off. Suddenly you've got an extra $400 to $500 every month that's not going to a car payment. Most people immediately think, right? They go, oh great, now I can afford a new car payment. It's exactly the wrong thinking. Instead, take that money and invest it. Put it into real estate or use it to start a side hustle. And after 7 years of investing that $450 monthly payment at maybe a 10% return, you'd have over $50,000. That's real wealth building. But here's where it gets really powerful. If following these 3 rules saves you just $300 a month compared to the typical new car cycle, that's $3,600 every year. Invest that at 10% annual returns, and that becomes more than $118,000 over 15 years. Think about that number, $118,000. That could be the down payment on a rental property. That could be your kid's college education. That could be your early retirement fund. All from making smarter car choices. Look, the math is brutal when you really break it down. The difference between smart car buying and a typical car buying isn't just a few $100s. It's literally hundreds of thousands of dollars over time. And here's what drives me crazy. Most people will spend more time researching which TV to buy than they will figuring out how to have 6 figures on transportation costs. Let me say that again. Most people will spend more time researching which TV to buy than they will figuring out how to save 6 figures on transportation costs. They'll clip coupons to save 50 cents on groceries, then go sign up for a $600 a month car payment without thinking twice. They'll shop around even, right, for the cheapest gas. My wife does this. And then ignore the fact that they're hemorrhaging every month money month after month in depreciation. See, here's the bottom line, and I want you to really think about it. Every financial decision you make has an opportunity cost. Every dollar you spend on something that goes down in value is a dollar that's not working to build your wealth. The wealthy understand this instinctively. That's why you'll see millionaires driving 10-year-old cars. It's not because they can't afford new ones. It's because they understand that cars are tools, not status symbols. Rather put their money into assets that make them richer, not poorer. But most people have it completely backwards. They want to look rich more than they want to actually be rich. So they finance the appearance of success while destroying their actual chances of building wealth. You got a choice to make. You gotta make it right now. You can keep doing what everybody else does, chase the latest model, make those monthly payments, and stay trapped in the cycle that keeps you broke. Or you can start thinking like wealthy people do. Use that capital to actually build wealth instead of just looking wealthy. See, time is the one thing that you can't get back. Every month you spend making payments on a depreciating asset is a month that money isn't working for you. And the longer you wait to break this cycle, the more expensive it becomes. I've seen people in their 50s and 60s who've been making car payments their entire adult lives. They've paid for maybe 5 or even 6 cars over those decades. And what do they have to show for it? Nada, zilch, nothing. Maybe a 10-year-old car that's worth a few $1,000s if they're lucky. Meanwhile, if they followed the rules I just gave you and invested the difference, they'd be sitting on hundreds of thousands of dollars right now. Right now. So when should you start? I think now could be a good time, right? They'd have real wealth, wouldn't they? They'd have real wealth instead of a garage full of memories about cars they used to own. The choice is yours. But here's what I know for certain. The car industry is counting on you making the wrong choice. They're counting on you prioritizing monthly payments over total cost. They're counting on you caring more about what your neighbors think, what you actually have in your bank account, and what that looks like. You know, they've built a $1 trillion industry on keeping people trapped in this cycle. Every 3 to 5 years, they want you back in the showroom. You get the emails, you get the flyers, you see the TV ads. They want to make sure that you're ready to trade in your old debt for new debt. Don't be their customer for life. Be smarter than that, please. If you want to build real wealth, you got to stop treating cars like investments and start treating them like the tools that they actually are. Get something reliable, keep it maintained, drive it until the wheels fall off, and invest the money that you saved into making more money. Your future self, I promise you, will thank you when you're looking at a substantial investment portfolio instead of another monthly payment book. The wealthy figured this out. They figured it out a long time ago. While everyone else is financing their image, they're building their net worth. While everyone else is impressed by monthly payments that they can afford, they're focused on assets that actually make them money. So here's my challenge to you before you even think about your next car purchase. Figure out what that money could do for you if you invested it instead. Run the numbers. Look at the opportunity costs. Really understand what you're giving up when you choose that monthly payment over building your wealth. Because once you see those numbers, once you actually understand what transportation costs are doing to your financial future, you'll never look at a car buying process the same way. You won't. You'll be armed when you go into that dealership. The question is, are you ready to stop being car poor and start building real wealth? Now, speaking of which, if you want to learn more about building wealth outside traditional systems, I've put together some additional resources that dive deeper into these strategies. Click on the link in the description below. Or you could visit legacywealthmasterclass.com, where you can learn how to get into multifamily deals by being what we call a deal finder. This is more for the active investor that has more money than time. You know the guy looking for sweat equity, so to speak. The choice is yours. Don't wait too long. Don't wait too long to make it. Every month you delay is another month that money isn't working for you. Financial future is sitting in your driveway right now, depreciating every single day. What are you going to do about it? If this opened your eyes in any way to the real cost of being car poor, give the video a like and subscribe. You know what to do. And if you want more content, click on the bell so that you know when we're coming at it. Learn about what keeps people in these financial traps, keeping them broke. Let me know what you think in the comments and what your biggest takeaway was from this breakdown. I'll see you in the next video. You can access it right here, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye.